Welcome to HBCU Her Voice, a place where we celebrate the powerful voices and stories of remarkable women from historically Black colleges and universities. I'm your host, Shanasia Washington, a proud HBCU graduate myself. I'm thrilled to bring you this platform dedicated to amplifying the voice of our community. We dive into inspiring stories of resilience, success, and the incredible impact these women are making in the world. From trailblazing entrepreneurs to innovative leaders, we bring you the stories that matter, showcasing how HBCU experiences shape paths and fuel passions. We'll explore challenges, victories, and wisdom. Whether you're an HBCU alum, a student, faculty member, supporter, or simply someone who believes in the power of diverse voices, we are so glad to have you. So listen up as we share insights, celebrate achievements, and uplift our community. Together, we can inspire the next generation of leaders and ensure our voices are heard loud and clear. A grand welcome to HBCU Her Voice. And you already know what time it is, and you already know what place we're at and what we're going to do today, the HBCU Her Voice podcast. Look, it's no secret. You know this is one of my favorite places to be because I don't skip on my guests, and you better check my check record. These women get better and better. The conversation gets stronger and stronger. And guess what? We shifted atmospheres around here. But I'm your beautiful host, Shanasia Washington, streaming from the wonderful city of Houston, Texas. And today, I got a treat for you. Mark my word, you will be changed by the conversation. I'm not going to waste much time because we do the drill. She comes to the stage, tells us her name, where she's streaming from, which HBCU she's repping, and we jump right into that story. Without any further waiting time, here's my very amazing guest for today.
Hello. How are you? How are you doing? I am Dr. Valerie Bennett. I am streaming from Atlanta, Georgia. Clark Atlanta University is the HBCU I am representing today. I am a program director in the College of Education. My focus is on graduate teacher education. We are producing amazing educators and making sure they are helping our Black and Brown students be the very, very best that they can be. I call myself an engineer educator. That is my background. I know we'll talk more about my story, but it's an honor and pleasure to be here.
And y'all look how Dr. Bennett came and done it all cute and did it this way. But this lady has made strides. And I tell you, she's made real big strides because, I take the time and I go check out my guests. I be looking all in their stuff. They don't know. But I go and check them out real good before we get here. So, in the space, in educating other leaders and faculty and what you're doing is so important because not only is it about having the numbers and all the degrees and stuff in place, you need that cultivating of this preparation and leadership prior to you going into whatever skill set that you trained for. I want you to talk about really how you help these educators and really what they get from being under your leadership.
Wow, that's a powerful question. So I think I would say it's in 3 areas. Number one, making sure they understand who they're teaching and what they need from us as educators. Of course, we're going to make sure they have their content and understand that they can deliver those STEM areas very effectively, but you must deliver that content in a way that resonates with them. That way, those students will have sustaining power. They can resist. They can be resilient in those particular fields because being an educator alone, right, there are so many challenges. So they have to know how to teach those students. I'll also say they have to know how to chime in to their own passions and bring that to their students. Because I tell you, if we cannot connect ourselves to our students, they will not have an interest in what we're saying, right? So you have to show that passion for who you are and bring that to our students. So very critical. And I'll say a third thing is that we must always lift our students up and be a vision caster in their lives, right? Because sometimes, right, we need those teachers, those leaders to bring those things out in our students, and we let them know the importance and the impact of them doing those things. It's not just about the content, right? They can kind of get that anywhere. But what we really strive to do is connect into those other areas of our students' lives.
Absolutely. I love it. And thank you for the support there in that space. A lot of times, people have to see that representation of them doing the thing. Somebody that looks like them, someone that sometimes may have the background, someone who sometimes may understand the same saying or the same, jargon. It really makes a difference in connective power. So I'm happy that you are serving in that place. Let's go back to your journey specifically, Dr. Bennett, because you talked about being in engineering school and being the only one. I know.
Yes.
I know. That's why I'm so happy that you are doing the work now. I want you to talk about your experience with that being the only one, and then talk about how some confidence emerged from that place.
Wow. I love talking about this because I want you to know that it has been a journey. So as an undergraduate student at Vanderbilt University, I majored in mechanical engineering. And, you walk in those classes and you look around and you're like, wow, I'm the only girl up in, I'm only female, Black female. What is this going to be like? Now, I am thankful to have, I went to public school here in Atlanta, Frederick Douglass High School here in Atlanta, Georgia. So, those wonderful teachers, they did build that confidence in us where we can go anywhere, but it was still very isolating when I got to Vanderbilt. And, I was the only Black female there in those classes. And so that was challenging because right when it's time for those engineering design projects, guess who was not picked to be in those groups? Me. I was the last one. You know how people picking on the basketball team and you're still looking around. So I was like, wow, I'm the last one. But when I got in those groups, right, I did my thing, right? I was creative, coming up with ideas. And so it was like, okay, it's too late now. You can't pick me. I can't be part of your group. So you really have to, pull, on those things that you had learned, those things you were taught about who you are. That's the first thing. The second thing, I was truly blessed to have a great community there at Vanderbilt University. We had the National Society of Black Engineers. I had a great mentor, Dr. Carolyn Williams, who was the very first Black female dean of the engineering school. And guess who she picked to be a mentee? Me. Okay, I was walking down the hall in the engineering school. She was like, hi. She introduced herself and it was on from there. She took me under her wing. So that mentorship, that support was extremely, extremely helpful. So those are the things that really helped my journey through the engineering school. And all my other Black engineers there, that were part of the National Society of Black Engineers. So we created this community. It was wonderful. But being in those classes was very, very isolating and a little scary.
Look, how about a lot scarier? It wasn't engineering for me, but being in some of those places where it was just me, I was like, okay, what's happening here? And one of the things I talk about often, Dr. Bennett, is, when I left, I went to a predominantly Black high school here in Houston, Texas. And then I went on to Houston-Tillotson University, which is in Austin, Texas. So when I had 8 years, being like this and walking like it, Dr. Bennett, when they dropped me in corporate, I say, okay, what's happening here?
What is going on?
Where are my people? Where is the feeling? Where is this community? So when you talked about, having that first dean that was an, African-American woman kind of, pull you by the arm and say, hey, that really piqued my interest because right now I had to do that. I had to find a mentor, right, that could walk me through this leg of land. And I, in my prayers, I said, you know what, Lord, when I see her, I'm going to know who she is. I'm going to know her about what she says to me, right? So in pulling in that, in this space, I talk about the importance of mentors, the importance of having someone to help pull you along the journey. It makes life is going to be life, right? But it adds that extra benefit of kind of a push in life, right? You're still going to have to deal with it, but it gives you that extra support. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Bennett. I have to go here.
Sure. We see the importance of that. And that's exciting to hear that those things were important to you as well. So I think
Oh,
that's
they are so important. And we talked briefly before the show started about why the platform mattered to me. Because there's a young girl right now that needs to ignite a movement.
Yes. Oh gosh, I love that word.
A young
Yes.
girl right now that will be a movement igniter, right? And she'll have to see maybe these strides. It's not my movement to do, it's her movement to do.
Yes, that's right.
But she may be feeling that she can't do it because of the resources or whatever. So this is another layer of why this platform is so important to me. And another thing in my research of you talked about the space where you are in terms of them being, a little bit leery for change, a little bit leery for innovative practice, a little bit, I don't know how to kind of walk around this new thing. I want you to talk about that in your space and what you are doing to kind of combat that and push the message and mission that change is important.
Wow. Yes, I think for our students, right, they are so used to, many of them are used to doing things kind of the same way. And we like to push them, prayerfully push them in a way that challenges them, but also letting them know that there's a benefit to the ones you are serving. So there's a benefit to who you're serving. This is why you have to stretch as a leader, as a student, because those students that you are going to minister to, let's just put it as I see it, right? Those students that you're going to have an impact and influence over, they need to know that you have stretched yourself. You're giving them the absolute best. What's new? What can impact those students? So you need to be on the forefront of what's innovative, what can capture attention, what can sustain attention, sustain growth, sustain understanding. So a lot of times that makes, we have to try something different. We have to try a different approach. And often, I would say ours is a safe space for them to do that before they go and try these things out, right, with their students. So we have some great technological platforms that they can use, mixed reality simulations. We're using AI to help them to better prepare themselves before they go out into that school or that district, right? So we like to say it's a safe place to practice. So we practice how we play, right? So we're making sure that, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? But we are holding your hand every step of the way. That way it takes a little bit of the edge of the uncomfortableness, if you will, out of the equation, to let them know they are supported, and encouraging them to let them know it's new, it's innovative. And that can be a challenge for our students, right? Because again, they're used to doing it a certain way, but there's a benefit to doing those innovative practices and putting those things in play.
Absolutely. I love it. And I think this is a great segue because it's really with that ripple effect of starting the change, right? Because you have to start the change. And then, you don't know what's going to happen at the next term, but you have to first have that initiative to start it. So to me, that makes me kind of look back at what you shared about your history with tennis and your father introducing you to that. And you told us that there was an Arthur Ashe quote that comes up for you, right? To start where you are, use what you have, right?
And do what you can.
And do what you can. I want you to expand on that a little bit and really how that has helped and played throughout your journey to get to where you are, because you have to just start somewhere, right?
You have to. I think a lot of times we work from a deficit basis, like I don't have this, or we're comparing ourselves to other people. And it's so easy to do that. Like, wow, he or she is doing that, I'm not doing that. But if you look within, what has God given you? It's the story of Moses, right? God challenged him, and God said, what do you have in your hand right? He had something that he didn't know the value of what he had and the impact of what he had and what he could do with that. So it connected, that quote connected so much to the Moses story that I was it just really stuck with me. And so in those times when we can't use a Moses story, we can talk about Arthur Ashe, but it's the same principle. It's the same principle. So, I began to just think about, okay, what gifts, what is the Lord given me to share to in the world, and how can it move his program through me to the people he wants it to impact. So, starting what I have, what do I have, right? I love being creative. My background, like I said, is an engineer. So I'm always looking, I love to build and make things. So I just brought that into my classrooms, whatever I did, right? We're going to make something today. We're going to do something. We're going to be creative. And so, using what I had, starting with what I had, and I did what I could. And so it's not just, oh, how many thousands of people what's your circle of influence? Who's around you? If you stretched out your hand, who can I make an impact to, through, and with? So it kind of takes the pressure off, because, if the impact is larger, that's fine. But I'm going to be over and take charge of this region, this area that the Lord has given me. And so, just do that, and, the Lord will take care of the rest.
But we have to have that action piece right for him to be able to take over. I'm going to take over the rest, right? Because, the faith is good, but with our work is what?
Dead.
Oh,
dead.
Don't you do it? It is. And with you saying that, okay, I'm going to action this. I'm going to go and do this in my network. I'm going to do these things. It was a lot of do in Dr. Bennett's speech. And then she said that God will take care of the rest.
Yes. Now, every time.
This is a good shift. And I don't get to do it on every episode, but I'm always happy and joyful when I can. Let's talk about faith walk.
Wow.
Wait a minute. I don't get to do this every time, Dr. Bennett. So sometimes I get to clown and I get to do it real, real good on here.
Go right ahead. Go right. I'm with you.
Let's talk about faith walk. Let's talk about you and where you are with it. Because sometimes I think, at least for me, let me make this personal. This year has been to date, in all of my years to date, this has been the biggest year with faith walk. I keep finding different turns in my faith, right? Sometimes I have believed that I have been walking by faith, but then it's like levels to this thing. It's levels to this. So for you, and you've had to go through a lot of places of a long time in your career and being the only one, and there's these different levels. Just where you are, Dr. Bennett, I want you to talk about the importance of your faith to you, and talk about this whole walk around the faith walk.
Wow. I guess I'll keep it short as much as I can, because I love talking about this, only because I'm constantly in that faith walk, right? So I'll couch it by saying this. As I have stepped into a new role, I have grown as a person, as a leader, understanding what that really means, because we talk about it, but we have to understand that there's growth there, and it takes really listening to him and having trust in him to take those next steps. What do I say? What do I do? How do I lead? And what's exciting is that this revelation really came today, is that, I had to learn how to trust, but man, I should have trusted him sooner. So that's what I'm learning on this faith walk, is just to trust sooner, so that the faith can have its perfect work. So that's where I am now, and just experiencing all that God has. But to know that, you know what, I should have trusted him long ago and stopped worrying. Worry and faith, they don't go together. But just learning that and learning to trust sooner would have just, helped with the peace. So I'll just say it like that.
Dr. Bennett, I'm telling you that has been helpful for me specifically in a few months, because I'll say I have faith, and girl, I'm up at 3 a.m. Then put a number here, a number there, got a whole list of stuff. Mine's still racing. I say, now wait a minute.
Yes.
You either gonna have the faith and leave it or nothing at all.
That's it. That's it. That is so true. That is so true.
So when you were saying that, you was like, oh, this thing is continuous. This is an everyday thing. I felt that. And like I was telling you, at the beginning of the year, and I was talking about all these things. I always create a word for the year. This year is about my joy. This year is about whatever it is financial. So this year, the word I coined, Dr. Bennett, was relentless.
Oh,
listen, I put that word on it, girl, and everything started falling apart after I said it.
Because to show that you're relentless, that means.
Dr. Bennett, everything started falling apart on me. I say it can't be another thing that go right around here.
Ain't that something?
I said, of all things, everything just started falling apart, right? And then I had to remember what I told myself at the beginning of the year. You declare relentless. So it's going to take some hurdles. It's going to take some knockdowns to prove relentless.
You can change that word, right?
Come on. Now I can't really be playing with him like that. I had told her, okay, Daddy, it's
okay, we stick it.
Daddy, it's relentless, and I'm going down in the record for it. I'm going for relentless. Okay, right. You can to September, you might as well just stand on it and let it be relentless. Okay. And let it be the thing. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Bennett. I tell people all the time, like these podcasts, they interviews, they be more for me than they be for my guests, because I get all kinds of confirmation. I get all kinds of vibes. You see what I'm saying? On the podcast, we just gonna come do the thing.
Yes.
That's what we do. That's what we do here.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Bennett, we didn't touch on this. Tell me about the nonprofit. Because we have to put the nonprofit in here. We got to let the people know that Dr. Bennett also, too, has another leg of work, if you will. Tell us about that briefly so we know about that. And also, to tell us where we can support her for the cause.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for allowing me to share. So we have a nonprofit called STEM Compass, and its mission is to navigate, motivate, and educate underserved students in STEM careers and entrepreneurship. And it was started about 10 years ago. I'm so thankful we've been able to have an impact in students' lives, nearly about 1,000 students a year, through our workshops, through our summer camps, through our partnerships, with a great team of educators and student teachers and student engineers. And we are all passionate about increasing the number of students in STEM areas that look like us, because we know that a diverse workforce is going to propel our society, our country forward faster. Not just forward, but forward faster. And so, we're excited to do things in the areas of, coding, AI, smart cities, robotics, biology, chemistry, oh my gosh, you name it. We do environmental science. So we have our hands and arms around these students, K through 12. We work through the whole gamut, the whole great band of students from diverse backgrounds. So we're excited about that. And you all can, send me an email, thestemdoc@gmail.com, and we can get you going with some information. And we would love to have you support us. If you'd like to serve as a volunteer or to work on our staff, we do have some great work that we're doing here. So that's a little bit about what we do.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. So Dr. Bennett got her hands full. She got this whole job over here training these people. Then she got this nonprofit too. So I wanted to make sure that we captured both of those worlds here. I have to ask you this, Dr. Bennett. You're a busy lady. You're very intelligent and smart. I've already checked the track record. You got to check on the guests. Y'all know I'll be nosy like that.
You know.
Okay. Where is the happy place for you outside of this stuff, right? Where is Dr. Bennett going to shirk herself up and finding really their place of peace?
Wow. So my places, I love spending time with my family. I love spending time with my children, my husband, just that, if it's just watching a documentary, I mean, I know it's like, that's so nerdy. We love watching those together. So, just spending that time together, having fellowship time with family, during the weekends, that just brings me joy, just having fun with them. I love, peaceful travel, I love the beach, just spending time in reflection and just listening to nature. I love that. So, give me a beach and I'm good. Listen to some waves. So, those are some things that I just love doing, to bring peace, to bring solace, to bring balance. Those are some things that bring me joy.
I love it. And don't be talking about the people that watch documentaries and they nerdy, because I'm a documentary queen. I love me a good documentary. I'm gonna watch it over a sitcom, a movie, all of it. I am going to choose a documentary. And it may just be the way that you're wired. I actually started off as a science kid. It could be your wiring. I was in middle school. I was like in the Magna Math and Science Academy, also engineering or whatever. Then it just took a shift. Bio major, chem minor. Then it just took a shift after college. So it could be something in our wiring, but I'm still very, very close to documentaries, specifically ones about our health. And listen here, Dr. Bennett, I tell life is full circle. Because I had already said, you know what? That stuff is not in vain. I said, I'm going to find the people that's going to invite me in personal trips. So they're doing their research. And it's kind of happening. I see it. And I was telling ran a boot camp like early in the year. And I was, teaching people about branding and voice and all this kind of stuff. And we got to a point in the actual thing. I said, well, y'all know I'm just a nerdy science kid. At some point.
And there you go.
At some point, you better believe it. And mark my word, who have I been talking to? All the best researchers, all the best STEM doctors, all the best engineers.
I love it.
You better stop telling me, Dr. Bennett. I'm just saying.
I'll send you an email. This documentary is on.
Well, you better let me know, because they know that's my thing. I love me a good documentary. Now, Dr. Bennett, I have to thank you so much for being in this space. Like, we've just had like a good time. Like, we're just sitting on the couch talking. I absolutely love it. And this is a part in our podcast where I tell my guests, these are your final thoughts. I cue over to you to give us some final parting words and really something that captures the essence of Dr. Bennett. So I'm cueing over you for final words.
Wow. So first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to be on this wonderful podcast and all the great work that you're doing. So first, I want to encourage you. I want to let you know that this work is needed, and we appreciate all that you're doing to spread this word and amplify. That's the word. I love that word. Amplify our voices for our generations, right? For them to hear our story. So thank you for what you are doing. And so I guess I'll end by just saying that we want to do all we can to encourage our young people, to put our arms around them, to encourage them to pursue whatever path they have ahead of them. And at our HBCUs, right, we are dedicated to doing those things. That's our mission. That's our love. That's our heart. And so we want to just encourage and let people know that this is what we do. This is what I do. This is what I'm committed to doing. And so reach out to us, reach out to me. Happy to collaborate, happy to talk about other projects. I love bringing people together, as we synergize so that we can propel what we're doing further. So we work better together, and I'm excited to work together. So there you go.
And there it is. Y'all heard it from Dr. Bennett herself, and I absolutely love it. So all our listeners and viewers out there in the HBCU Her Voice land, I tell you that I love you. I never leave this place without saying that. And the other part of it is transformative things happen when you use your voice. This is a place that does this. Dr. Bennett says she loves Amplify, and so do I. This supports and place in my life where I can give roses and give roses more abundantly. Until next time, we'll be back with another amazing guest on the HBCU Her Voice podcast, and we're out.